rally Trump is a force into his own, and we saw when he was, even at the trial, and he was using the press conference to his advantage, still kind of surrounded by a crowd of people, throng of like Republicans who are there to pay lip service to him. I think him on his own in an isolated studio with just Biden and then Jake Tapper and Dana Bash. I feel like that's a massive disadvantage for him.
Welcome to The Debrief, where we talk with the Washington Examiner's top journalists about the headlines they're covering and where the story's going next. I'm Sarah Bedford, and I'm here with Managing Editor Chris Irvine.
Hey.
Chris, we're just a few weeks away from the first presidential debate, the earliest one in modern history, possibly ever. I don't know. I'm not a history buff. But we finally have the rules for it, and there's speculation that the rules actually advantage President Joe Biden, just like the structure of the
Shocking,
debate.
right? Who could have seen
Who
that
would have
coming?
thought?
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
I'm still kind of surprised that Trump even kind of agreed to the parameters that were set. If you recall, it all came by very, very quickly, where Biden sent the letter saying that they weren't going to go the traditional route. Then Trump very quickly agreed, and then CNN said, hey, we can host it, and it all felt a little bit like, oh, this feels a little bit choreographed. But yeah, as it's kind of transpired, it does feel like the rules certainly do benefit Joe Biden, and I do wonder if Trump is maybe a little bit too cocksure in this instance, where he probably feels that Biden is there for the taking with the behavior that Biden's kind of displayed publicly recently. And I just wonder that Trump can sometimes come across as a little bit too aggressive in situations like this. And that happened 4 years ago, where Trump came across as aggressive and the bar was set so low for Biden, where it was basically like, just turn up and don't fall over and don't make an idiot of yourself. And then he did that and actually did okay. And then that helped kind of, dampen any concerns of how he might be as the chief executive. So yeah, not surprised at all that it seems to be favoring Biden, but somewhat surprised that Trump is going along with it. But maybe he just feels he's too big to fail.
Possibly. I have a hot take that I actually think the rules are good for Trump. The cutting off the microphone thing, Trump can't come across as a jerk if he can't yell, like he's not able to yell over Biden, so protecting him from himself.
Yeah, I mean, I do think there is that a little bit. I don't think it'll matter. I think Trump will still try and talk anyway, and he'll get frustrated. Yeah, the thing that I think will really hurt him is that he feeds off live crowds. Rally Trump is a force into his own, and we saw when he was, even at the trial, and he was using the press conference to his advantage, still kind of surrounded by a crowd of people, throng of like Republicans who are there to pay lip service to him. I think him on his own in an isolated studio with just Biden and then Jake Tapper and Dana Bash. I feel like that's a massive disadvantage for him.
What does Biden have to do to be perceived as the winner? I mean, does he just have to get out like complete sentences, or does he have to perform a little bit better than that?
Genuinely, I think it's as simple as that. I think, as I said, the bar was set so low last time. I think the bar is even lower this time. He needs to exude a presidential air and not come across as getting into the mud with Trump. Trump loves dragging people down into the mud and suffocating them, and that's how he's been so effective in debates from years and years ago. And I think Biden needs to probably have a little bit of a D-Day speech in him as well, where he comes across as presidential and the bigger man. A couple good zingers here and there. Biden needs to also make sure he doesn't come across as cantankerous, which he is prone to do at times. But yeah, like just so long as he gets out there largely unscathed, that will be seen as a huge, huge win. Now, if he falls over or he has any kind of brain farts or anything like that, that's just going to get played again and again and again. And so, it's sort of low risk, high reward, I suppose. I don't know if that's the right phrase. Maybe
for Biden, but I would say maybe the calculation is flipped for Trump. I mean, it's kind of Trump's debate to blow.
Right.
So what do you think that Trump needs to do to be perceived as the winner?
I think Trump needs to, again, he probably needs to stay on message. He needs to just keep hammering home, but not in an aggressive way, the various things about how the border is broken and the stuff that's kind of been working for him. I don't think he should get too involved in the airing of grievances and the weaponized Department of Justice going after him. I think he could maybe do that to an extent, but if it turns into 90 minutes of Trump just airing dirty laundry and how 2020 was stolen, I think that's going to be a big turnoff for the independent voters. And we've already started to see, it was a really interesting poll this week, and it was a Fox News poll that showed that Biden has actually overtaken Trump again by a couple points. It pointed to the likes of RFK Jr. maybe falling in the polls, helping there. And I think that there's a suggestion that Trump's conviction might be starting to hurt him. So Trump needs to be on message. He needs to be aggressive, but not too aggressive. And just make sure that he doesn't have any verbal slip-ups as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, we will see. Just a few days away. Yeah. Chris, thank you so much for being here today. You can get more writing from Chris and the rest of the political team at washingtonexaminer.com.